What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to predict every single top 25 game for week 8. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been predicting every game. I only recorded my ranked games, but in this video, I want to go through all of my unranked predictions just quickly. I'm just going to tell you my winner and the score prediction for all of the unranked games after I go through the breakdowns of the ranked games. But before we do that, let's look at my results last week picking all 56 games. And I had a very solid week. Overall, I went 42-14, but I was impressed with my consistency against the spread and my over-under predictions. Against the spread, I went 35-21, and on my over-under predictions, I went 36-20. This week, there are 60 games. I'm going to go in depth with my ranked predictions, but I'm also going to give predictions for the unranked games. And that will be at the end of the video, but without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with the ranked matchups, Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, number 2 Miami will play Louisville. I honestly could see Miami coming out flat in this game. They have struggled off of bye weeks. This is not a bad Louisville team, and their defense might be able to keep them in the game. I do think ultimately Miami will control this game, but I don't expect it to be a blowout. Miami will chew clock and control the game, but Louisville has a good enough defense to keep them in the game. This will be a tricky Friday night matchup for Miami, but I am taking the Miami Hurricanes 27-17 at home. Give me Louisville plus 13.5, and I have the under. The next game is Minnesota versus number 25 Nebraska. This game will be played Friday 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Minnesota is one of the worst Big Ten teams this year. The offense has just not been there, and Drake Lindsey isn't that great. He's a freshman quarterback, but he's just not super consistent. Teams have found ways to contain that Russian attack, and it's hard for Minnesota to do anything offensively. Nebraska has looked pretty good this year outside of that one loss to Michigan. I like them to win this game 31-21. I like them minus 5.5, and I have the over. We move on to the Saturday games. Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, number 17 Vanderbilt will play number 10 LSU. I expect this to be a low-scoring, gritty game. Both these teams are going to be fighting for a win in this game, but ultimately, I'm going to take the home team. It's SEC football. You can never count out a home team, and Vanderbilt's been sneaky good at home in recent memory. And I think they have a quarterback who might be able to make work against that LSU defense. Obviously, that LSU defense is very good, but they don't have the offense to back them up, and I'm just not too high in LSU. Give me Vanderbilt to get it done, 24-21, cover and minus 2.5, and I have the under. The next game is Duke versus Georgia Tech, Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern Time. The winner of this game could definitely meet Miami in the ACC title. Both teams are undefeated in conference play. Duke has been turning it up lately. Their offense has looked phenomenal with Darian Mensah, and the defense has looked better. They're forcing turnovers. But in this game, I really trust that Georgia Tech line of scrimmage and their ability to run the ball. I don't think they'll turn it over a bunch, and I think they'll put it in the hands of Haynes King to win them this game. Georgia Tech can win in many ways, and they are a gritty football team. I think they can win this game on the road. I think it will be very close. Give me Georgia Tech 31-28. I like Georgia Tech plus 2.5, and I have the under. The next game is South Carolina versus number 14 Oklahoma, Saturday 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time. If Oklahoma drops this game, their playoff chances might just be out the window because their schedule is brutal and it's only going to get tougher. With John Mateer battling injury, this one could be a tough one, and they're also playing a team that could turn up any week just like Texas did, and it is a road game for Oklahoma. Ultimately, I do think the defense will get it done. South Carolina just doesn't have what it takes, I don't think. This will be your typical SEC defensive game, but I am taking Oklahoma and John Mateer to have a better game. Give me Oklahoma 20-14, minus 4.5, and I have the under. The next game is Wisconsin versus number 1 Ohio State, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This game is not going to be close. Wisconsin's probably not going to score a single touchdown. Really nothing much to say. Ohio State has the best defense in the country. Wisconsin has one of the worst offenses. Give me the Buckeyes 38-6, even on the road. I like them to cover minus 26.5, and I have the over. The next game is number 3 Indiana versus Michigan State. This game will be played Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Look for Indiana to continue dominating. They look even better in the trenches this season. The scores have been even more dominant than they were last season, and they're only trending up with Curt Cignetti. Like I said in the offseason, this team retains a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were even better this season. And they are proving it so far. They beat Oregon. That was a huge win for them. I think they beat Michigan State big in this game. Michigan State has really struggled lately. The offense hasn't been able to do much without Aiden Childs, and the defense is one of the worst in the Big Ten. Give me Indiana 42-10, blowing them out, minus 26.5, and I have the under. The next game is Arkansas versus number 4 Texas A&M, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Arkansas is such a streaky team. There's weeks where their offense could come out and play like a top 5 offense in the SEC, but you also don't play a weak Tennessee defense every week. This A&M defense is legit, and they've been cleaning it up lately. After the first quarter against Florida last week, they were stellar, only allowing 3 points in 3 quarters. Texas A&M is the most complete SEC team. They will ground the rock and have game control. They will play good defense, and I don't see Arkansas keeping up with A&M. Give me A&M 41-17, minus 7.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 9 Georgia versus number 5 Ole Miss, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I really want to pick Georgia at home with how many dominant wins they have had over Ole Miss, but just watching this Georgia team play, they are not the same team anymore, and it's not even close. Their offense is even worse this year than it was last year. They can hardly score over 20 points. And honestly, I think Ole Miss has the tools to win this game on the road. A lot of these SEC teams are being overranked like Georgia. There is no way they are a top 10 team on the field, while Ole Miss has a little bit more offensively with Trinidad Chambliss. As long as they're able to finish drives, which they weren't able to do against Washington State, Ole Miss should be able to win this game. Give me Ole Miss 24-17. Georgia's defense will keep it close because that's just who they are, but I think Ole Miss is easily covering plus 6.5, and I'm taking the under for this game and an Ole Miss win. Next game is Arizona State versus number 7 Texas Tech, Saturday 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Arizona State stands no chance in this game, even with Sam Leavitt. This is a very average Arizona State team. They barely snuck by TCU and Baylor, two teams that haven't looked all that great this season. TCU having that road loss against Kansas State, while Texas Tech, they just dominated Kansas, a Kansas team that competed with Missouri. Tech has an elite defensive front, and they are hands down the best team in the Big 12, and not a lot of people are talking about them. People need to watch this Tech team closely this week because they're going to put the college football world on notice. Hopefully, Sam Leavitt is playing in this game. Texas Tech will win this game even bigger if Sam Leavitt isn't playing, but right now, I do like Tech 38-14. I honestly don't know if Leavitt will be fully healthy, so I don't think they stand a chance. Give me Tech minus 10.5 pretty easily, and I have the over. The next game is UAB versus number 22 Memphis, Saturday 4 p.m. Eastern Time. UAB has one of the worst defenses in college football. This game will not be close. Look for Memphis to continue rolling and stay undefeated. I like Memphis 49-21, covering minus 21.5, and I have the over. The next game is Rutgers versus number 8 Oregon, Saturday 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a one-possession game at halftime. It is a road game, and they might be a little bit hungover from that loss, but Dan Lanning will have this team ready. They will turn it up in the second half. This is not a Rutgers team that can dominate them at the line of scrimmage, and Oregon does have a very good defense. They were very stellar against Indiana until the fourth quarter defensively. So no, I'm not selling a lot of my Oregon stock. I just think Indiana is that good and a national title contender. Oregon will definitely bounce back in a win 38-10. Give me Oregon minus 15.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 18 Virginia versus Washington State, Saturday 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Really, I think this game could go a bunch of ways. It could be a Virginia blowout. It could be a close win for Virginia. And it wouldn't surprise me if Washington State came out and played their best game and upset Virginia. They're looking for those wins. But back-to-back road games across the country could be tough. Now, last week, that game against Ole Miss really shouldn't have been that close. Ole Miss just failed to convert on drives, and they did not play a good game at all. They moved the ball but could never finish drives. But Virginia has such a good offense. They have been very good in the red zone. Give me Virginia in this game big, 38-17, minus 16.5, and I have the under. The next game is Kentucky versus number 21 Texas, Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern Time. After what I saw from the Texas team against Oklahoma, the offense still doesn't look elite, but it looks a bit closer to what it did last season, and they should be able to score in the 30s against a pretty weak Kentucky team, even on the road. I think Texas' offense will turn it up a bit. They are still a playoff contender because the SEC is wide open. I don't really see any elite teams in the SEC, maybe outside of A&M. Give me Texas 31-10, minus 12.5, and I have the under. Speaking of the SEC, we have number 6 Alabama playing number 11 Tennessee Saturday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Alabama is not the number 6 team in the country. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, they've won out. They've been beating ranked teams since they lost to Florida State. Yeah, they snuck by an overrated Missouri team that really struggled against South Carolina and Kansas at home. Now, let's not forget, like I said earlier, Tech dominated Kansas at home last week. It wasn't even close. Alabama is not that good of a team. They are not different from what they were last season. Even with a win in this game, I do think they'll win it. Tennessee's defense is not that good. The SEC is just being overranked because of the logos. It is not 2010 anymore. But regardless, Alabama will still probably be a playoff team, and I think they win this game 38-28, minus 7.5, and I have the over. A team that I really do think is legit is Notre Dame. They play number 20 USC at home Saturday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. With USC's offensive talent becoming healthy, this is a dangerous USC offense and they could challenge Notre Dame. Their only loss is a 12 p.m. kickoff time to Illinois, and that's a very tough spot for them, and they nearly came back and won that game. USC now has their top 2 receivers in Makai Lemon and Jacoby Lane, and they had a dominating performance against Michigan, putting up 30. I think they'll stand a chance in this game, but ultimately giving that Notre Dame Russian attack and the better defense. I like Notre Dame 37-28, minus 7.5, and I have the over for this game. The road test for USC is just going to be too tough. Notre Dame is very good at home. The next game is number 19 South Florida versus FAU, Saturday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I look for another 50-60 point performance from South Florida. Their offense is a lot of fun to watch and very good. FAU's got a pretty weak defense, but they can score some points. Give me South Florida 58-24, minus 22.5, and I have the over. The next game is Auburn versus number 16 Missouri, Saturday 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. While Missouri doesn't have the same caliber of defense as a Georgia or a Oklahoma or a Texas A&M, I still think they have the edge rushers who could get to Jackson Arnold, and they should be able to win this game on the road. I just think they have more talent, and they'll be able to run the ball good enough. Auburn is just in a tough spot right now with that offensive line. I really think they don't have a lot of momentum at all. Give me Missouri 24-17, plus 2.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 15 BYU versus number 23 Utah, Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Why did game day not go here? I don't know. This is such a great rivalry in a top 25 game we have here. BYU has looked decent this year. They find ways to win games. But Bear Bachmeier, this will be his biggest test of the year. And I don't think BYU has it in them, even at home. Utah has looked like a very good team outside of the loss to Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is just elite on defense, at least in the defensive front. So really, I'm not holding that Utah loss against them. Devin Napier has been solid, especially on the ground, and he has a passing attack sometimes. And Utah's defense will just be too much for BYU. It is a rivalry, it should be close, but give me Utah to pull away late in this game. 31-21, minus 3.5, and I have the over. And finally, the last ranked game of Week 8. Oklahoma State will play number 24 Cincinnati Saturday 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Is there going to be a week where Oklahoma State randomly turns up? I don't know, but I can't really pick them in any way. Cincinnati's a good team. They only have one loss to Nebraska in Week 1. Give me Cincinnati to win big, 42-16. Cover in minus 20.5, and I have the over. So now that we're picking every game, we're doing something new. I want to give you guys all of my predictions just so you know how I do. I'm not going to break down any of these unranked games. I'm just going to go through every game and predict the score and the winner. And it's going to be very quick. I have Liberty over New Mexico State 25-13. I have South Alabama 34-30 over Arkansas State. I have Western Kentucky 37-17 over FIU. I have Jacksonville State 27-24 over Delaware. I have UTEP 21-17 over Sam Houston. I have East Carolina 31-14 over Tulsa. I have Utah State 35-31 over San Jose State. I have California 34-13 over North Carolina. I have Washington 27-24 over Michigan. I have Boston College 27-24 over UConn. I have Houston 30-24 over Arizona. I have TCU over Baylor 34-31. I have Tulane over Army 31-17. I have Bowling Green 30-17 over Central Michigan. I have Miami, Ohio 28-10 over Eastern Michigan. I have UCF 31-24 over West Virginia. I have Toledo over Kent State 34-20. I have Buffalo over UMass 29-13. I have Northwestern over Purdue 31-28. I have Troy over UL Monroe 31-17. I have Clemson 34-24 over SMU. I have Air Force 31-24 over Wyoming. I have Boise State 38-28 over UNLV. I have App State 27-24 over Coastal Carolina. I have James Madison 31-24 over Old Dominion. I have Marshall 41-31 over Texas State. I have Temple 31-17 over Charlotte. I have North Texas 42-35 over UTSA. I have Ball State 21-14 over Akron. I have Ohio 31-14 over Northern Illinois. I have Florida 31-17 over Mississippi State. I have Southern Miss 40-34 over Louisiana. I have Iowa 23-17 over Penn State. I have UCLA 34-24 over Maryland. I have Colorado State 31-24 over Hawaii. I have Georgia Southern 38-27 over Georgia State. I have Pitt 34-24 over Syracuse. I have New Mexico 34-17 over Nevada. I have Oregon State 32-21 over Lafayette. And finally, I have Florida State 31-17 over Stanford. If you guys want to know my thoughts on any of these games, let me know down in the comments below. Well, that is going to do it for this video. Now, let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing and also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.